Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, dedicated to making you a better fisherman. Proudly brought to you by our sponsors: The Boat Shop, 3J's Fourway, Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, The Lakes Insurance Agency, Lone Star Bass Trail, V&M Baits. Now on to your hosts, Ranger Daiwa Pro Staff Steve Graff and V&M Baits President Kevin Jean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M President Kevin Jean. And Kevin, things are slowing down a little bit right now. Tournaments are getting harder and harder to come by, and
harder to make. Steve, all the boat ramp closures on all the lakes. You know, it's just getting tougher and tougher. As high as these lake levels are on most of the lakes, it's just hard to have a tournament right now.
Yeah, but those of you that are going to Toledo Bend, I'm seeing. It's still fishing very well. Sam Rayburn's a little bit different. Sam Rayburn's 10 feet high right now. I was over there this past weekend. It's no trouble getting around and no trouble launching your boat at Castle Boykin. It's the only ramp I hear that is open at this time. So, matter of fact, it's actually easier, Kevin, launching this weekend than it was when it's down normal.
Right.
You ain't got to wade out into the lake.
Castle Boykins, anyway.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, Castle Boykin boat ramp, if you're going over there on a weekend, prepare yourself to sit in line for a while and wait, because people are still getting on the water over there, and pleasure boaters, barge crews, these pleasure barge people are having a good time, and they are taking their time to get their boat and barge in the water. Trust me on that one.
Well, and you know, two lakes that is easy access, and right now has done a great job of getting the water through Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Toledo Bend, both the lake SRA has done a really good job of keeping the water levels. They're maintaining and full pool. And Lake Fork. Good thing about it, Lake Fork's able to continue with their tournament, especially their large tournaments. This coming weekend, the Skeeter Owners Tournament on Lake Fork. We're going to have Lake Fork guy Jason Conn on with us to kind of give us a lake breakdown, fishing report, kind of what to expect for this coming weekend. So some big things going on up north.
And this will be conducted by Bass Champs Organization. They're the ones that put this event on, and they do a great job. Chad Podge, Jeff Welsh, they do a tremendous job each and every event they put on. So thank those guys when you see them. Thank them for doing that because that's a lot of work that these tournament directors put in. And yes, sure, they're in the business to make money, but it's still a lot of work, and they got good crews, people that are helping set everything up. Thank those people when you're at the weigh-in. Tell them you really appreciate what they do, because some of those people are actually volunteers. They're not paid a dime to do that. But anyhow, before we get to Jason Conn from Lake Fork, we're going to real quick recognize 2 or 3 of our sponsors.
And our newest sponsor added this month is Toledo Health, located on Highway 6 near Toledo Town, right there at Toledo Bend, a full-service primary care and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's convenient to the area. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. They treat it all from fish hook removal to chronic conditions. Give them a call at 318-508-5323. It's located at 11340 Texas Highway in Manny. So it's just east of Toledo Town and Tackle, right there at the Fourway stop.
Pass right by it this weekend. Great location, great place. Also, Lone Star Bass Trail, they've kind of wrapped up their spring season for this year. They'll start back up in the fall. They did have a MLF format style tournament that we'll get to the results a little bit later on in that. But if you're looking for something to fish this fall, starting September the 12th, the second weekend, that's the weekend after Labor Day, they'll have a circuit that they're starting to be a 4-tournament event, 5 including the championship. Championship will be December 19th. And which, by the way, is my anniversary, so I won't be there. But anyway, it's a great organization. They're doing a good job with it. A lot of guys don't hunt. There are some guys that like to fish into the fall. This will be the circuit for you. And this will be at Toledo Bend. And the spring was at Rayburn. The fall will be at Toledo Bend again, starting September 12th. So check it out. Lone Star Open Team Series Bass Trail.
The Boat Shop. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. Stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the Boat Shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to the ShreveportBoatShop.com to learn more. Also, a Sea Arc aluminum boat dealer and a brand new Camus fiberglass boat dealer as well.
Yes. And so if you're looking for a new boat or need some repair, I'm telling you, nobody's better at working on Yamaha motors than Jason Kidd. So check it out. While Kevin's getting Jason Conn on the phone, I really want to talk about real quick. Be patient if you're going to lakes that are high right now. And again, the boat ramps are crowded, but be courteous and be aware of what you're doing, because what you're doing affects the time frame it takes for everybody else to either get in the water or get off the water. Be conscious of it. Try to get out of the way as quick as you possibly can. And especially if you're launching by yourself, we all have done that. Kevin and I, we've all had to sometimes launch our boat by, we know that takes time, but do try to get in a hurry. Don't stop and talk to your buddies along the way while people are waiting in line. Get in the water, get out of the water, go park your boat somewhere, and then come back and talk to your buddies.
If you can't tell, Steve had a rough weekend getting his boat in and out of the water.
It's just, it gets a little frustrating at times. But anyway, all right, we got Jason Conn on Lake Fork. Got Jason Conn. And Jason, we've had him on before. Jason, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great.
Jason, you on the water today?
We are on the water. We've been dodging rain and wind and everything this morning.
I got you. Is it raining right now?
It is not raining at the moment.
Gotcha.
Jason, this spring, you probably dodged, especially in the last month, you have probably dodged a lot of storms. I mean, I know East Texas has been pounded. Rayburn is 10.5 feet high right now. Give us a lake report for Lake Fork. Where's it at level-wise?
I haven't looked today. We got a bunch of rain last night, and I know it's up. Just from places I've been fishing, I can tell it's a little bit higher. So I'm thinking it's probably 6 inches high right now, but I haven't looked, but it is a little over full.
Are they still generating, Jason?
Well, they got the gates open from what I heard.
Right.
But again, I hadn't even looked today. So
I got you. And we were just talking about. Right, we were just talking about that. The Sabine River Authority (SRA) has done a great job maintaining Lake Fork and Toledo being at the right water level. Getting as much water through as they can. So you're able to have tournaments like that. If that tournament was on Sam Rayburn this coming weekend, we couldn't have it. So.
Exactly.
Well, and real quick, let me give everybody the report. Here's the Lake Fork lake level. It's at 403.83 feet. That's 9.96 inches above pool. In the last 24 hours, they've gained 4.56 inches, so it is on the rise. And but anyway, a little less than a foot high, so that's great time to get on the bank. And are they on the bank right now, Jason?
Okay, so I've got 3 different ways that right now that I'm catching them. On the bank, in the mornings, if there is wind, I've been throwing a buzzbait some. Catching those on the points where the shad were spawning. I haven't really seen a lot of shad spawn the last week or so. And then also like the lily pads, what flooded grass you can find. I've been throwing a port shad 2.0, a Gleason candy is the color, and that's a V&M. It's kind of like a fluke. I've been throwing that in that flooded grass and the lily pads, all the kind of stuff like that, and catching them. And then also, a frog. The color it's inconsistent on that. One day it's white and one day it's black or green or whatever. So
right.
The other thing is the shallow shell beds. 4 to 6, 8 foot. I've been catching fish, with like a shallow 4.0 type crankbait. Colors, just any shad color on that. Also a shaky head, the mega shaky. I've been using a 1/2 ounce. With the Wild Thing, 10.5 plum on the worms. This time of year is one of the best colors to use. You can catch them on different colors as well, like green pumpkin or something like that. But the red bug, the plum has been my best color for that. And then like right now, yesterday, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people have already saw it, but my daughter caught an 8-pounder out deep in like 26 foot of water. We were throwing spoons trying to catch sand bass for her, and she landed an 8-pounder. So a lot of the deeper fish you can. I've been throwing a Carolina rig out to catch the bass. Also with the Gleason's Candy 2.0 port shad, and I've actually been catching these fish from 25 to, I know this sounds crazy, but 32 foot of water. Yeah. And some of the bigger, fatter unders that I've been catching have been, in that 25 to 30 foot of water.
And Steve, before we go any further, I have to say, if you haven't seen that video of his daughter catching that fish on the spoon, it's something you need to go to his Facebook page, Lake Fork guy Jason Conn. Watch the video from yesterday. So they're throwing a spoon out deep, and I'm assuming, Jason, y'all thought when she hooked it up it was a sand bass?
Yeah, sure did.
And then all of a sudden that thing comes up and jump, and Jason about loses it trying to get to the net while she's trying to reel it in. It's something fun to watch. It really is. If you need to make sure you go to his Facebook page and like that. But go ahead. Steve.
And Jason too. I mean, I was over there 2.5 weeks ago. Me and my 2 co-hosts on my other show. And we threw the spoons because the black bass just weren't doing much. And so we picked up the spoons. And I'm telling you what, there ain't many places you can go on Fork and pick up a spoon and catch sand bass.
It's full of them. And we most of us out here don't like it, but it does. If the bass aren't biting, it's something that we can just go do to make our clients happy.
Exactly. And most people just want to catch fish, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. It is pretty easy just to go anywhere off of a deep point or channel swing or a flat or anywhere, and you can find sand bass.
Yep, that's true.
So, Jason, it sounds like you're saying this. I mean, this thing can be won several different ways. People can go fishing this weekend on Lake Fork however they want to fish, shallow, deep, mid-depth, which is really good on Lake Fork because it's not that big and people can spread out a little bit.
That's
correct?
True. That's true.
Yeah. Man, I mean, there's going to be overs caught shallow to deep, and I figure there'll be quite a few that get caught. 2-3 days ago, we caught one that was over 8. That was an over, and caught her on the bank in the very back of a pocket on a buzzbait. So
wow.
And then the ones we had actually in the video, if you hear me say, "Look at your sister," well, we had another boat of friends that was right beside us, and my son was on that boat, and they actually caught one right beside us that was an over, and it was only a little over 7 pounds, but it had a 13-pound head on it. So she she was just skinny and post spawn fish, and so you can catch them, like I said, from the bank to 30 foot of water right now. So you just got to be throwing the right baits at them. I could literally throw one color and I can't catch them, and then another guy's throwing a certain color and he's whacking them. So it's really about color right now to me.
Well, Jason, another thing too with the brim, I guess they've come in and done their thing. So we all know this time of year, bass start feeding on those brim. They come in shallow, and so I guess what about brim colored swim jigs and stuff like that? Or crankbaits? Are those paying off right now besides the shad colors?
Man, we were about a week ago catching them really good on a swim jig. But the brim spawn to me, I haven't really benefited much from it. Mm-hmm. But so I really couldn't, be an honest answer about that one. But
yeah.
But yes, they are spawning. I've seen the beds on the side scan and all that. I hadn't fished them. So yeah, if you see that kind of stuff, I'm sure you probably could, in those areas. But it seems to me like everything kind of was trying to spawn at once. Like we still got bass that are spawning right now. You know, and the crappie or some of them are. I talked to a guy yesterday. He was catching crappie up on the bank and still. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was still spawning. So.
So Jason,
it's been a very weird year.
Yeah, it has. So for a guy fishing his very first Skeeter Owners Tournament, never been to Lake Fork, what do you tell him?
Well, go by one of the marinas and buy the guide lane chip. Yeah. First of all, so you're not out there running across the middle of the lake like some of the people were this past weekend that I was looking at and shaking my head. So you really got to be careful running this lake. Got the boat lanes. If you don't have the guide chip, just try to stay in the boat lanes. And then as far as fishing, just go into a pocket, start at a point, and if you see grass, throw a fluke or throw a frog. If you see shell or on the bank, then start. You can throw a crankbait or a shaky head or something in those shell beds. And then as far as points, just grasp the points. You got one's a big one. Be the net.
We got a fish on.
Live,
fish on.
Hey, live on the air right here. What
are we catching this fish on?
Carolina rig with the Gleason Candy.
Gotcha.
2.0.
Hey, Jason, while we got you, just had somebody send a message in. They want to know where's the best place to stay, or where's a good place to stay over there at Lake Fork.
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah. Hey, come here.
We gotta get it in that.
We got a little pause. We might have to take a commercial break, folks. But real quick, Jason's he's actually doing a guide trip as we speak. So we're getting you don't get no more live than this.
Carolina rigging a Gleason Candy pork shad, which is huge on Toledo Bend and Lake Fork, especially right now.
It's probably the worst color in V&M's lineup, the Gleason Candy.
Well, I can't ever keep it in stock. So
exactly,
it's my favorite color on this lake. To be honest with you,
it's my favorite color at Toledo and Rayburn.
Yeah, y'all get a picture of that for me.
How big?
It's just an old trashy old slot fish.
4, 5, 6 pounder.
I will recommend.
It's a little under 5.
I will recommend while Jason's trying to get this fish off. I will recommend Lake Fork Marina and Motel. I've been affiliated with them for a long time. It's a great place to stay. They got cabins. They got houses you can rent. They got a great motel. It's been completely refinished and redone.
Then you got Pope's Landing,
Pope's.
Lake Fork Resort.
We got Pope's. They have waterfront cabins that are really nice. I actually had my family in town this weekend, and we stayed there. They got Lake Fork Resort, which has hotel rooms as well. They got gas. Got the best tackle shop on the lake.
Yes.
So you got a good variety of places on just over here on the west side of the lake.
That's true. Take your pick. Yeah, they're all good. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But you have to book. Coming in for these big tournaments like that, you got to book way in advance. And really at Pope's and those areas over there, you need to book in advance anyways, because the cabins, they're hard to get. It was really hard for me to even get a cabin.
Yeah, your only chance of getting anything this week is from a cancellation. That would be your only chance of getting anything this week for sure.
Another guy,
you could probably pitch a tent somewhere, but that's probably not the only thing.
One of your clients, I think, coming in this Thursday, Jeremy Locke's looking forward to fishing with you this Thursday. So he sent a message here.
Yeah,
good deal.
Yeah.
Well, Jason,
I can't wait to fish with them too.
Man, I appreciate you coming on, kind of giving us a little lake breakdown and kind of what all's going on at Lake Fork over there, man. And hope you guys have a good rest of the day and a good trip.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason.
Well, hope to do it again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later.
All right, Jason. All right, Jason Conn, Lake Fork guide over there in East Texas, and one of the best over there. And as you just heard a live report, him actually catching fish while we were on the air with him. So that's good PR. When you're catching those kind of fish and you're on the air with somebody. So
and it's a really good thing, Steve, as we alluded to. You got fish shallow. He's catching fish on a buzz bait, on a frog and a pork shad, a fluke type bait, up in the pads, catching fish mid-depth on shell beds, catching fish out deep on the points, and also catching fish out 25, 35 foot of water on spoons. So you kind of got a little bit of it all going on.
Yeah, and when we were there, like I said, 2.5 weeks ago, they weren't quite out there yet. They were starting to migrate out to the deeper water, those underwater bridges that are really good over on Lake Fork. They just weren't there yet. But now it sounds like they've made that move. They've committed to their summer haunts. So, hey, you can catch them deep. You can catch them shallow right now. Which really makes for a great event, Kevin.
Yeah.
When people can spread out and not everybody be out deep or everybody on the bank. So,
I forgot to ask him. I wanted to get his opinion on how many overs this weekend. But from what I'm hearing over there, they're expecting several overs this weekend.
Really?
It's fishing well. When it's several guys I've talked to, when it's several different patterns going on at Lake Fork, that's when you get most of your overs. So everybody's not concentrating on doing one thing. You can just go do something. Do what you want to do. It sounds like whatever depth you like to fish, you can go do it on Lake Fork right now. So go fish your strengths, and but they're expecting several overs this weekend. No, it's going to be a good weekend at Lake Fork for sure.
We'll get to some ABA results here in just a second. Real quick, we got some more promos we need to do. 3J's Fourway, store within a store and a great place for lunch with an awesome deli and the best fried chicken in the South. 3J's Fourway offers gas, food, ice, but Cypress Knee Outdoors offers a great selection of hunting and fishing gear located right inside 3J's Fourway. They got Sandtone, they've got V&M, they got Strike King, they got Spro, you name it, they've got it. They got Gamakatsu hooks. They got everything you could ever want. And so great hunting supplies as well from Primo, guns from Winchester, Remington, Mossberg, along with a great selection of ammunition. So, for you hunters out there, now's maybe a good time to start kind of stocking up on ammunition, because I know last year there was a little bit of a shortage on that. So don't be afraid to check out Cypress Knee Outdoors for ammunition. Stop in and say hello to John Abraham and his great staff. Cypress Knee Outdoors inside 3J's Fourway, located 1 mile east off I-49, exit 127 east of I-49. Call 318-238-HUNT. Hunt.
And Pride Rods, custom rods built in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Gary Loomis. They carry a complete line of spinning and casting rods for both freshwater and saltwater applications. Pride Rods pass not only the eye test, but performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up to try it for yourself. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040.
Headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, you got to make one stop right there. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. Make sure you pull in there. Keith Neighbors is the owner. Ben Matsubu works in there all the time, former Elite Series Pro. Both these guys spend a lot of time on the water. They can tell you what you need to be throwing, where you need to be going, what the fish are doing, and they've got a great selection of tackle on the racks, full pegs, ready to go. And so stop in there, and anytime you're headed for Toledo or going across to Rayburn, make sure you stop in there and give those guys, just tell them hello. Tell them Tackle Talk Live sent you. They're located on Highway 21, west side of Toledo Bend, just across the Pendleton Bridge on your left. If you're coming from Louisiana, on your right, coming from Texas. So check it out. Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle.
And last but not least, the Lakes Insurance Agency, an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texas insurance needs for 25 plus years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, recreational vehicle, life, health, and commercial insurance. The owner, Clark Moore, is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs as a boat owner and wants to be your go-to guy. Give him a call at 936-205-4467 or stop by at 805 Southeast Stalling, Suite 3 in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Real quick, we'll wrap up the ABA Open Series. It was the South Texas Division at Sam Rayburn. Again, the lake was 10 feet high. It started out about 9 when we got there on Thursday. By the time we left, it was over 10 and a half. And so lake is still on the rise. And so if you're looking to go over there. But James Larimore won this event from Vidor, Texas. He had a 5-fish limit of 26.15. He had a 9.01 kicker. Daniel Neal Gilmore from Magnolia, Texas, was second with 20.75. He had a 6.58 kicker. John Maddox from Lufkin, was third with 18.44. Josh Torres from Etoll, Texas. He had 5-fish limit for 16.95. William Messer from Timpson, Texas, was fifth with 17.91. Marshall Hughes from Hemp Hill, Texas, was 17.91 was fifth. 17.41 was sixth. Hunter Moncrief from Pineland, Texas, right there at Sam Rayburn. He was seventh with 14.86. Adrian James from Winfield, a good friend of mine and Kevin's. We all stay together. He finished eighth out of Winfield. He had 12.68. Richard Wagner was ninth from Jasper with 12.19. And rounding out the top 10, Randy Chatelaine from Counts, Texas. He had 5 fish, 4 live. He had a dead fish penalty. He weighed in 12.63. That kind of rounds out the top 10 for the ABA.
And the Lone Star Bass Trail had their annual Memorial Day tournament yesterday. Top 3 as follows. First place was Thompson and Risenhover. I believe I said that right, of 1881 with their 5 best fish. Second place was the team of Morton and Walton with 1581. And third place, team of Wade and Spriggs, soon to be Wade if they'll ever get married, with a 5 best fish of 1266.
And upcoming events, we'll go ahead and jump into that real quick. The ABA Open Series, June 19th on Sam Rayburn is coming up. Also on June 19th, Kevin?
The Outlaw Outdoors Average Joe Tournament. That weekend's a big weekend on Sam Rayburn State. We got to get this water level right.
Yeah, because if we're all going out of Castle Boykin, it's going to be rough.
We've got to get this water level right. And we actually called the Corps of Engineers this morning, trying to get somebody on. Maybe next week we can get somebody on to talk about it, to talk about what we got coming. I know we've got rain the next 2 days, but got some big weekend. The month of June is a big month on Sam Rayburn.
Yeah.
So, again, June 19th, ABA Open Series and the Outlaw Outdoors Average Joe Tournament. Now, this is postponed from a couple last weekend.
I think you're right.
2 weekends ago or last weekend, one or the other. This is postponed event. Then June 20th is the Father's Day tournament, the big Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day tournament that they always do there.
And Kevin, I would assume those are all going out of Humphrey, because I know ABA for sure is going out of Castle Boykin. So
yes.
The Humphrey Pavilion ramp has been closed, and it still may not.
No, they're a trailering tournament. So
well, that's true. But there's only one ramp open on Rayburn right now, and it's Castle Boykin. And there's another ramp that's real steep, about halfway up the lake on the west bank. What is that, Kevin? I'm trying to think. It's a small ramp, but you can get probably 15 to 25 boats in there.
Blank.
But anyway, on June the 27th, the Texas Shootout. That's a Bass Champs event. And
first place, $50,000.
Yeah.
They really, I really hope that the lake level's right where they can have this event. If not, Bass Champs, let's move it to Toledo Bend. Just saying.
There you go.
Just throwing that out there.
And don't think Chad and him aren't thinking the same way, because again, the history with Rayburn that I know me and Kevin have both seen, when it's up, it ain't like Toledo.
No.
They draw it back down overnight. It may be up for a while, y'all. We may be into August before this thing's back to where it's supposed to be. But hopefully we'll find out more next week from the Corps of Engineers.
Hopefully. So also, Steve, because of the high water on Sam Rayburn, the Big Bass Splash Jackpot Summer Series has been moved to Toledo Bend.
Oh, there you go.
Out of Lost Frontier Park. Starts this Friday from 5 to 8. You can register on their website or at Keys Toledo Bend Tackle. So they'll start their little evening Jackpot Summer Series deal this Friday out of Lost Frontier Park at Toledo Bend from 5 to 8.
That's put on, I believe, by Nicole Seeley and her husband, I believe.
Correct.
Are the two putting those on. So Seeley, once again, is involved in that. So you know it's going to be done right. And I'm telling you, if you haven't been to Lost Frontier Park, it's the old Frontier Park, let me tell you, Chase, who owns that place, has done Chase Collins is the owner of that, and he has done a tremendous job. If you haven't been, they got new cabins, a brand new Olympic-sized swimming pool. You got a great restaurant. And he's continuing. You got a new RV park that's been completely refurbished. You got a new boat dock. And he's planning on having some major events out of there over the next year.
Really good restaurant.
A really good restaurant. And so it's just a really good place to go. If you haven't been there, check it out. Chase is doing a lot of things over there to bring people back to Frontier, which was one of the original ramps on Toledo Bend.
See, there's a lot of good things happening in Toledo Bend right now. Tranquility Bay Resort just got bought out.
Really?
By the same owners of Red River Marine of Sinlaw, the Skeeter boat dealership in Alexandria, just bought Tranquility Bay on Toledo Bend. So there's a lot of new construction going on in Toledo Bend, a lot of new places to stay. You know, and the fishing's getting better. So hopefully Toledo Bend just keeps growing and getting better.
And Wildwood Resort was bought out a couple of years ago, and now they've done a great job of renovating their place. They've redone a lot of the cabins there. They got a great boat ramp. Great place for family events, weddings, whatever you need. Again, they're not sponsoring the show. We're just kind of helping them, give a little plug here for them. But Kevin's right. Toledo Bend, there's a lot of things going on over there. And I'm glad to see the Texas side with Lost Frontier Park right there. Somebody on that side of the lake taking initiative and doing things the right way, and Chase Collins is doing that. And
Steve, next week, and we'll really jump into this on next week's show. Being the show will be on Monday, but next week, Super Bowl of them all, the Bassmaster Classic on Lake Ray Roberts up in Fort Worth. Interesting event, Steve. This is going to be one of those events that with all the rain, the shallow bite will still play, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Will be an offshore deal as well.
Will it take 20 pounds a day?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Ray Roberts to say that. That's catching them this time of year.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
catching 'em.
It's a summer event basically, and but maybe we can line somebody up that's from that area. Well, maybe we'll try to find somebody to preview the Classic a little bit.
Yeah, there's several of those locals and Lake Fork guys. Lee Livesey unfortunately did not qualify for the Classic. I don't believe he did. I'm pretty sure he did not. But if he did, I hope he does. But Lee knows that lake very, very well. Is he on the list there?
He is not.
Yeah, and Combs did not qualify either.
No.
Combs would have been my pick if going into it because he knows it's offshore cranking deal. Those two would have been my favorites, but unfortunately, neither one of them qualified for this year's Classic anyway.
A guy to keep an eye on there is Chris Zaldane. He actually lives right down the road.
Yes.
Now, he will be the first to tell you it is not his home body of water, but since it was announced, he has been on that body of water and he has learned a lot about it.
Yeah, so going to be an interesting Classic. I did see. Did you read about the weigh-in format? How we're going to be doing it now? So
it's a Classic.
Yes, and I shared it on the Tackle Talk Live page last night. So they're only going to bring their two largest fish to the arena.
Oh, really?
It's an hour and 20 minutes drive
from
the arena.
Of summer?
Because of the summertime.
Yeah.
So they are going to a private stage, going to weigh their 5 best fish. Nobody will know what that weight is until they get to the arena. They'll show the weight and then hold up their 2 biggest fish. But because of summertime, because of heat, because of that drive, for the Friday and Saturday competition when there's 50 boats, they're going to, as soon as they put their boats on the trailer right there at the ramp, they're going to weigh their 5 biggest fish, put their 2 biggest fish in the live well, and take those 2 big fish back. So that way we're not transporting 5 fish and one small live well an hour and 20 minutes down the road when they're caught out of most likely deep water.
Right,
so,
right. And
hats off to Bass for that.
Oh, heck yeah. That's just going to make for an even better weigh-in, I think. Going to be exciting. And and they're protecting the fish.
Yes.
So, and that's the most important thing.
Now, Sunday will be normal. Championship Sunday.
Right.
There's only 12 boats, I think?
10 or 12.
10 or 12 boats.
Right.
So on Championship Sunday, those few will make it quicker. The weigh-in won't last as long, so they're going to bring their 5 back for a normal weigh-in.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up this week. We appreciate everybody that tuned us in. And numbers were up today. We appreciate that. And again, if you want to be a part of the program or like to sponsor the show or you're getting good exposure with our program, we've got a lot of people listening, coming even that don't listen live. A lot of people are coming back and watching it during the week. We'd love to have you as a sponsor. Contact us through our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he gets back with you and gets you a packet sent out to you. And but again, can't have too many sponsors. We're always open for that, and we appreciate each and every one we have right now. Thank you for all your support. And again, thank you as the people who watch us each and every week. And thank you for saying hello at the boat ramps or on the water. Or, man, again, I had 2 or 3 people this weekend at Sam Rayburn said hello. Thank you. We appreciate that. It means a lot to us. It really does. Because we know people are watching and we know that you're tuning in to us each and every week, and that's all we ask. So, but again, if you want to continue to catch more fish, make sure you watch Tackle Talk Live. Have a good week, everybody.